Good evening, everybody. This is the February meeting of the Planning Commission of the City of St. Louis. We often meet in a more compact place, but so we're just getting ourselves organized for this formal diet. I will say those to the right are the Planning Commissioners for the City of St. Louis, and we're staff this way, including some others. So we appreciate you all coming tonight. This is a meeting where there's a number of things that are of prominence and a number of things that have some scheduling aspects to why we are taking up and having such a full agenda for tonight. I want to mention that in full agenda, it means that the materials and packets that went out for this meeting is this entire blog here. I will say that with no excuses for saying that it used a few trees, because we were getting it pretty precise and right, very precise and correct. Staff has worked quite hard. There's a number of these things were in a short time period, so people worked extra hours through their lunch hours and whatnot. So tonight, we do have some things that we don't normally do in the course of every meeting, in that there is a public hearing on 2 items tonight, meaning that people other than staff or developers will have an opportunity to testify. We'll make full presentations and then there'll be a testimony. Are there anybody here that's their intent was to come to testify in one of the 2 public hearing items? Did I see a show of hands? Okay. It's a small number. We anticipated that. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum. I understand we're going to lose 1 member in about 45 minutes. We'll still have a quorum at that point, but we'll get pretty expeditious at that point. But Mr. Chairman, proceed, but I'd like to make a couple comments before we open either one of the public hearings.
Thank you, Doc. With that, we call the meeting to order. First roll of business, if we have a roll call, please.
Alderman Boyd. Present. Alderman Cone. Not present. Commissioner Madden.
Present.
Commissioner Boyd.
Present.
Commissioner Bradley.
Present.
Commissioner Conway.
Present.
Commissioner People. Not present. Commissioner Reed. Not present. Commissioner Barnes.
Present.
And Commissioner Young.
Present.
And you is present?
Present. With that, and there is no one on the phone at this time, is that correct?
No one on the phone.
Okay, thank you. The first order of business would be to approve our minutes from our January meeting. The committee has received them. I will entertain a motion for approval of the minutes.
I move to approve minutes dated January 8, 2020.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. If we can have a vote, please.
Alderman Boyd.
Aye.
Commissioner Madden.
Aye.
Commissioner Boyd.
Aye.
Commissioner Bradley.
Aye.
Commissioner Conway.
Aye.
Commissioner Barnes.
Aye.
Commissioner Young.
Aye.
And Chair Crowder.
Aye.
Passes with all.
Very good. Thank you for that.
So, Mr. Chairman, as I mentioned, we're doing things that are related to a public hearing, 2 public hearings, and also those are both related to the stadium project, as is our approval and review of a redevelopment plan tonight. Those are the first items on the agenda. We thought just to get you grounded a little bit in this preview of coming attractions, we do 2 informational items just up front. And Cecilia would queue up. We're going to take you on, and somebody will get the appropriate lights. We're going to take you on a drone flight from this morning of the area where we're seeing the stadium today. Anybody that can hum a really exciting tune.
I wonder who our thought back of the
So the Gateway Mall is an integral part of what we're looking at. So this is a flight, like I said, this morning towards the east, with the City Courts building, the arch behind it. In the county foreground, as you can see it, is Soldiers Memorial. Key to the Gateway Mall, of course, is the renovation that's included at the arch at the east end, the Shoulders Memorial, and now we'll go west to the stadium side.
I'm sure somebody knows the tune of Frozen or some song they can know.
No, John.
And you got a clear day to fly.
And I saw the courtesy that this morning, the closures were announced as being on the 3rd, but they were after rush hour this morning for the arrival, the rush hour. As we see this spinning around, the arch is behind us in that far view, and so this is where the terminus will be now with the stadium. And so, as we think about, second one? That was second. Good, thank you. So with that, yes, there's the lay of the land. It's both the stadium site and the Gateway Mall area. We're going to invite a representative from the architects from the stadium to come up and just show us a brief slideshow of what the stadium is proposed to look like. Eli?
Point down. Got it.
So Eli, if you could introduce yourself.
Sure. Thank you, Commissioner staff.
Lighting study and redevelopment plan for 1601 South 7th Street. The proposal is to demolish the existing building in order to construct a mixed-use building, which would include 300 market-rate apartments, 5,000 square feet of commercial space, and 330 parking spaces for the approximate cost of $68 million. The site is located in the Soulard neighborhood on approximately 3.3 acres. It's just a block north of the Soulard Farmers Market on the northwest corner of Marion Street and 7th Street. Currently, the site is being used as a truck sales and service facility, and the tenant plans to another area within the site.
Conway.
So for those of you in the audience, a magic device is hidden in front of the podium that we usually normally have folks starting us.
So we have Commissioner on the phone at this time, so, thank you.
I'll go through the image of the area again fairly quickly. Not quite in numerical order, but I will go around the site. This is the subject site as seen from North 7th Street. This is the subject site as seen from 8th Street on the opposite side, right next to I-44. To the south is the brewer machine and gear shop. To the west of that is a parking lot. West of that and across 8th Street is the Soulard Market Loft Apartments and a commercial use building. To the north of the site is an office building. And to the east, opposite 7th Street, is the Broadway Truck Center. This is a site plan of the proposed use provided by the developer, showing in plan view a 5-story apartment building with a parking garage and retail space on the northern end. The developer also intends to provide amenities such as a pool, courtyard, sky lounge, and fitness center. The subject site is designated as Business Industrial Preservation Area. It is surrounded by the same designation with one exception. The parking lot on the southern end across Marion Street is designated as Opportunity Area. So while the Business Industrial Preservation Area does not allow for residential uses, the strategic land use plan has some flexibility built in, and that's what we call the adjacency rule, which means that a proposal may be considered by using an adjacent designation. In this case, staff will propose using the opportunity area designation where the use of land is in transition, and the designation is intended to be flexible and allow for specific development proposals to be entertained as they present themselves. So given that the proposal is a mixed-use building adjacent to the Soulard Market Apartments and a block from the Soulard Market, it is in keeping with the type of development near and around the area. Thus, staff finds the proposal redevelopment plan in conformity with the strategic land use plan and recommends approval. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. You can tell for representatives also.
Okay. At this time, we would invite the developer to make any statements if they have. If you would state your name and who you with.
This looked a little like the episode of To Tell the Truth.
Yeah, it's, Haven't seen that show, but that sounds like a good one. I would just add, I wanted to actually went down to the site to take a picture today, because I figured it wasn't going to be on the actual picture. So the Broadway truck service actually had a fire. So that, if the commissioners are interested, I can show you a picture of that as well. But I just wanted to bring that up, that as part of, they will be, finding a different location in the city, and it was partially prompted by that fire, so.
Oh, unfortunately, okay.
And I'm Dave Sweeney with Lewis Wright. I'm just here answering questions as well.
All right, thank you. With that, we'll entertain questions from commissioners. First one I'll ask is that on the phone, Commissioner Conway, if you have any questions at this time, I'll entertain them.
No questions.
Commissioner Manton?
Does Soulard have a neighborhood plan?
Not currently, no.
Surprising. Is this in a historic district?
No, that's fine.
Then, going back to the site plan, if you don't mind. Yeah. So, the pink represents retail. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is that the only location of retail, or is there other uses along the base of the building that includes retail?
That's the only retail location.
Well, it's a good site plan. I think it's a great project, especially as it transitions to a more residential zone. Hopefully this will help spur that along 7th and Broadway there. No further questions.
Commissioner Vines?
Do you have a rendering at all?
Not yet, it's in process.
Can you give us an idea, is it going to be like a historic reproduction, or is it going to be kind of a modern contemporary build?
Unfortunately, I don't think we're that far along. I mean, our client does have a building that's in the historic district that he did at 7th and Victor, the Soulard Steel Yard, and I think our plan is to, obviously, we want to be good neighbors, and so review it with the neighborhood and get their feedback, so therefore we're just not that far along, so we're kind of setting up the deal right now.
One of the things I'll mention is, of course, in the Chapter 99, so there are some further design standards that they have to apply with that. And Zach, if you just want to mention the summary when it comes on.
They would have to go for,
Yeah, please, Zach, if you would.
yeah, our meeting with Soulard also discussed their design standards. And they will have to come back to the LCRE board to present those plans to us. And we will designate them developer once we see those plans and their final budget numbers.
Commissioner Bradley?
No questions, great project, thank you.
Commissioner Boaz?
No questions.
Commissioner Young?
No questions.
With that, if there's no more further questions from the commission, I'll entertain a motion to accept the redevelopment lighting as presented.
So moved.
Been moved and seconded by Commissioner Vines. With that, call for vote. Aye.
Conway's an aye.
Commissioner Vines.
Aye.
Mr. Young.
Aye.
Chris Crowder.
Aye. All right, thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen, very much. With that, we have one more, it looks like 1820.
That
was it. So with that, we have a couple of rezonings which Roman looks like stepping up.
And I'll just remind the commission that the Chapter 99, the design review occurs from LCRA and then the Alliance for Zoning. And then these next four will proceed through rapidly. Concludes with the Iron Hill PUD. And then the PUD, that's where a process is that we will do design review here. Not tonight, but later.
Oh, come on, man, let's do some more. All right, Roman, number 20. 1020.
This is a proposed rezoning of two parcels, 4478 and 4484 Vista Avenue. And it's a rezoning from the neighborhood general type 2 zone to the neighborhood center type 2 zone. Those zones don't sound very familiar. It's because it's part of the Forest Park Southeast Form-Based District, established a few years or so. We'll be rezoning the underlying zoning districts, but the zoning is under the Forest Park. So the site is about a quarter of an acre in size. It's located near the southeast corner of Taylor and Vista, in the Forest Park Southeast neighborhood. The existing uses are a vacant lot and a vacant single-family building. The petitioner wants to consolidate those two parcels with the three adjacent parcels on the corner at Taylor in order to construct a 35-unit apartment building. The petitioner is Green Street Development Group, LLC, which of course is affiliated with Green Street St. Louis. Brian Kraft is president of the firm. Here tonight if you have any questions. So this is a map that shows the boundaries of the Forest Park Southeast Form-Based District. I-64 on the north, railroad rights-of-way along the east and south, and King Highway Boulevard on the west. The underlying zoning districts, the ones you're mostly familiar with, A through L, are shown in color here, and then the form-based district zones are shown here in these interior black boundary lines. So if we convert those black boundary lines into this map, this shows the 7 zones that are present in the form-based district. This is a map that shows the proposed rezoning. Again, the two parcels are shown here in the neighborhood center type 2. They want to consolidate these 3 parcels in the neighborhood center type 2, shown in brown. As you know, and as in the case of underlying zoning districts, a proposed rezoning is not allowed if you have 2 different zoning districts. So that's the reason for the consolidation and need for the developer of the district to request the zoning. This is an aerial photo. It's a little bit out of date. There's a lot of development that's been going on in the Forest Park Southeast neighborhood, a fair amount of which is Green Street initiative. Remember last month, this is the site of a 300-unit apartment building on the other side of Taylor Avenue. The Marte dog park and restaurant is located here on the other side of the railroad tracks. And this area, which is primarily residential except for the industrial stretch, has seen a lot of residential development, and our aerial photograph has not kept up. There's a lot more building footprints that are being shared. So these are some photos of the rezoning site. The first parcel is a vacant lot. Second parcel is a single-family building with a wide side yard. Together, not much in the way of site. Immediately to the west is the vacant 2-unit townhouse building that's in poor condition, and next to that on the corner is another vacant single-family building. Those demolished in order to make way for development. On the south side of the rezoning site, you may remember we talked a little bit about this project at last month's meeting, a number of infrastructure problems associated with this block, and so they would directly impact on this particular project. This is the east-west alley, looking eastward from Taylor Avenue, that I believe would be the access point for people who be parking in the garage portion of the building, currently crumbling. On the eastern side of Taylor, there is no sidewalk whatsoever. And then at the corner of this and Taylor is a cul-de-sac. Green Street is investigating and talking with stakeholders as to whether or not that cul-de-sac gets removed and opens up the street. Further down Vista, looking eastward, 8 multifamily buildings were recently built in the last couple of years. Development. Further down the block, same block, are 7 single-family buildings constructed. On the opposite side of the street, you see a big span of buildings in good condition, but also some vacant lots. This development project is It's located right here, identified as Building 6. It's part of a multi-site location that Green Street is tackling. You see there are 5 other sites in the same quadrant that are being redeveloped. This is a rendering that was submitted by Green Street. You can see it's a 4-story building, portion of which is 3 stories, 35 units, and 36 parking spaces on the ground floor. This is a floor plan, Vista, Taylor. This is the first floor plan. So this is the units and parking spaces. We're to the south there. The city strategic land use plan designates this site as a neighborhood preservation area, which obviously encourages residential development, including infill development. So it fits in perfectly with the strategic land use plan. The rezoning would achieve 3 objectives, according to the zoning administrator, which are listed there. As we saw, the zoning is conforming with the strategic land use plan. Staff is recommending approval, and as was the case last month, 1 or more variances may also be required. Brian Pratt of Green Street is here tonight to deal with questions.
With that, I will entertain questions from the commission. I'll first start with Commissioner Stiff that's on phone. Commissioner Conway, if you have any questions at this time.
No questions.
Commissioner Mattson, thank you.
All right, 3rd month in a row. Popular.
He's here so often, that's actually Queen Street's shape.
Got to be considering that pedestrian bridge over the track at this point.
I'm all game. I'm all game.
Coolin Building, what is the difference? This is workforce housing, correct?
One workable space, correct.
What's the point?
51% of the unit count is 168 units across the 6 buildings will be designated workforce housing. Those are rent capped at 80% of the area median income. The other 49% of the units will be market rate units.
So how does that translate to the monthly rent?
It's approximately on a per unit basis, anywhere between, $100 to $200 difference depending on efficiency to 2-bedroom, relative to the market rate units.
Okay. And this is a question for Don. I know we have a letter of support from the alderman. There's a development review committee for Forest Park Southeast. Do they write letters of recommendation, or is that just, do they send one to the alderman and then the alderman sends one?
We technically don't need the alderman's letter, actually,
Right.
for us, because we're making a judgment. I would assume they've been to Park Central. We would hear.
We've been to Park Central's development committee. We also, at the request of the alderman, we met with the neighborhood association group and a joint meeting with the development committee for this project as well. So we received support ultimately from the development committee and development.
And then you mentioned there may require variances. Do we know what those are?
Specific to this building, I may not get it all right, but we do have a first floor ceiling height variance. Don't believe we have any setback variances here. There's a required parapet, which doesn't exist on this building variance. So I'd say there's 3 to 4, and those are scheduled for March 18th. The area. Again, have support from the development committee for those variances.
I can't remember, Roland, whether you mentioned in the past that in sort of tire kicking the form-based code and since its implementation, you'll probably see an amendment to the full code itself on the first floor ceiling height.
We've been in discussions with Park Central. They have some ideas as to how to avoid some of the regulations that continually require variances, or the ceiling height being one of them. And just to rectify that, not very popular with developers, and talking with city staff, including the zoning session, I don't think they are in favor of keeping that particular regulation. There are some other issues too that we're discussing. Been in effect for 2 or 3 years, so we've learned a little bit. Hopefully we'll get some change.
And what's the parking ratio for this project?
So we have, one off-street parking per, unit. So in this case, we have, 35 units, 36 spaces, slightly above 1-to-1 ratio. Each of the buildings, the 6 building development have a ratio.
Great, no further questions.
Commissioner Glavine.
Controlled by contract or the owner?
We have site control by contract.
Commissioner White? No questions. Commissioner Bradley?
No questions.
Commissioner Boyce? Commissioner Young?
Commissioner Conway, you already stated no questions with that. Would entertain a motion for the acceptance of the rezoning for 1020 block of Vista Avenue.
Can you send your previous role?
It's been moved, I hear that it's been seconded. Call for previous roll, hearing no objections. No objections approved with previous roll. Thanks, Doug.
It's very hard to see from down here and.
Oh,
sorry.
Commissioner Boaz,
And then second was.
second Commissioner Bassett.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we have another one, which is at 8201 and 8221 Minnesota. It's yours.
Yes, we can see an aerial of the site on the screen now. The site is located in the Patch neighborhood. The property owner intends to remodel the building to allow for its office use and an ancillary event space. The user would be a company called Go Brand Go and a co-working space called the Conflux. Go Brand Go is currently located in the Benton Park neighborhood, and it has the outgrown space. Additionally, the property owner is hoping to launch the co-working space, which is geared at helping sort of mid-tier manufacturing companies take their business to the next level by providing business training and flexible collaborative spaces under one roof. So this is a place where they can kind of remove themselves from their facilities and work on targeting their business growth. These are a couple of the floor plans you see here showing how they hope to reorganize and renovate the space. The commissioner also notes that the school used to educate children of the smaller laborers, manufacturers, by bringing the school sort of back as a complex. Their primary clientele would be some of those sort of same children, educating them again to grow and prosper in their businesses. So that's a nice little tidbit. The site is currently zoned C, two-family dwelling district. The proposed rezoning is to E, multiple family dwelling district. And this would allow for the renovation of the former school into an office, but as a conditional use. So while the proposed zoning district E is of higher density, it is in keeping with the residential character of the neighborhood, and those higher intensive uses, such as office, would be conditional, and the petitioner understands that they would not be allowed outright and would need to go through the traditional process. So allowing the use as conditional ensures that the adjacent residents and neighborhoods have an opportunity to propose conditions on the use and ensure that they're not negatively impacted. Conditions could include things such as hours of operation, lights out, et cetera, with, things that they kind of work out through a hearing process. As you can see, the subject site is generally surrounded by the two-family dwelling designation, with the exception of an adjacent parcel that's zoned B, multiple family dwelling district. And then catty corner from there is zoned J, industrial district. So this proposed B, multiple family dwelling designation could therefore be seen as a transitional zoning designation, which allows the building to be reused, but also provides protection from those non-residential uses. This is an aerial of the site. And this is an image of the existing building as seen, this is an image of the existing building as seen from Minnesota. And this is the parking lot, if you can see more from there. This is the two-family unit to the west of the subject site. And this is the mixed-use residential commercial brewery building just west of there. Across the street from the subject site is the Convalette Lions Park. And this is an image of the existing home to the east of the subject site across Minnesota. This is a photo of the home to be continued south for the next block. And finally, this is a rear or alley view of the existing single-family residential properties, which abut the subject site by the alley. As you can see, most of them have garage entries from that alley. The strategic land use plan designates the site as neighborhood preservation area, which is intended to preserve existing neighborhoods and augment with infill residential and commercial development, which is typically integrated with the neighborhood. The petition meets this designation by preserving the existing building, which is thus physically integrated with the neighborhood. Additionally, the office and co-working space will serve the manufacturing businesses that are trying to take their business strategies to the next level, some of which may be located in nearby industrial properties. Finally, the owners have contemplated that the ancillary event space may, in the future, allow for a gathering space for the community when it's not being used by the tenants of the space, should that be desirable as a resident and sort of not being utilized. Thus, staff finds the petition in conformity with the strategic land use plan and recommends approval. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, and the representative is also available.
With that, we'll entertain any questions from the commissioners at this time.
No questions from Conway.
All right,
The building and parking lots look like they're in really good shape. Is this just recently abandoned, or was there a use?
No, the use before this was a daycare facility.
Okay. Is the building itself listed? Are we in a historic district?
I believe so. I'm not sure myself.
And as part of this rezoning, there's a plan to alter the building or do an addition or do another building in any way. I need to verbally answer for me. The recorder didn't catch me. Okay.
Any air going through our ears?
No further questions. All right, Commissioner Vine? No. Commissioner Bradley?
No question.
Commissioner Boyaz? Commissioner Young? With that,
I'm going to interrupt you for just a second. Doug, would you introduce your client?
Sure.
So this is Derek Weber. He's president, managing partner of Go Brand Go. He's a wonderful entrepreneur who has done a lot of great things and will continue to do great things for St. Louis. So Derek.
Derek, what I'd like you to do with this group, because I heard you speak, came to the podium at the LCRA meeting, and you just went into a 90-second version of the passion you have for this building and the history. Please say it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, might as well, right? So Derek Weber, Go Brand Go. So this is a vision that we've had for several years. We actually considered this same concept down the street from our office in Benton Park at the Shepherd School, but we could never make the numbers work there. What we're super excited about, and Cecilia mentioned a little bit, is so this school building was actually built in 1871, to make it one of the two oldest St. Louis public school buildings still standing in the St. Louis area. The other one looks just like it is in Hyde Park. The school building was originally built for the children of manufacturers and laborers, literally people coming off the boat and working for a living, immigrants mostly. So at one point there was over 400 kids of manufacturers and laborers being educated in the school building. And so Go Brand Go, our niche market that we work with are mid-market manufacturing companies. And what we found is these businesses are fantastic at innovating inside their business, making their lines run better, getting more efficiency. But when it comes to innovating on their business, making their business strategy better, they're not quite as good at that. And with the changes that are happening with the speed of technology and speed of innovation, their industries are being disrupted at an alarming rate, and especially when it comes to imports and overseas competitors. There's going to be winners and there's going to be losers in their industries, and our goal is to make sure that the manufacturers that are in our town and in our communities are part of that winning team. And what's I grew up on a 6th-generation dairy farm out in Jefferson County, and so I know what small businesses and small towns can be. And some of our clients, currently, a lot of them have their offices here in town or in a urban area, but then they have the manufacturing plants in small towns. And couple of people we talked to employ 100% of the town. And there was actually one company we talked to, they employed over 100%. 120% of the town's population was employed by this one company. People literally drove in to work for this company. And we've seen what happens to big cities like Detroit, when major employers of a city go down. Imagine what that does to a town that has really no recourse to be able to recover from that. So our goal is to make sure that the complex is a space and a place where manufacturers can come together, they can share their experiences, they can innovate together, and making all of their businesses rise and be more successful. And so Go Brand Go will be moving their office from Benton Park in the building that we own and that we did an abandoned building back in 2007. So we've been in Benton Park for over 12 years, almost 13 now. And so we'll be moving our offices there, as well as adding these additional spaces to serve and support these manufacturing companies. More than 90 seconds, but...
All right. Okay, done?
This is your global headquarters, right?
Well, that's right. I mentioned before, so we do have one client in Canada, in Toronto. So St. Louis Benton Park is our global headquarters of Go Brand Go.
And just as the networking at the end, you say hello and introduce yourself, the man in the back row will do a little pollination of the city. Well, like you do that at the end.
We rode the elevator up together.
Oh, good.
With that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the rezoning for number 20. So moved. It's been moved by Commissioner Ryan, seconded by Commissioner Boyd. Call the vote. Recall the previous roll. Are there any objections? Hearing none, approved by previous roll. Thank you. We are at 1220, 510 Sarah Street, and Roman's up for this one.
That's right. So this is a rezoning of one parcel from the K unrestricted district to the J industrial district. The site is about 2/3 of an acre in size. It's located near the northeast corner of Sarah Street and Clayton Avenue in central West End. It's also located near two major transportation corridors, the Metrolink route, as well as the Cortex Station, Lockersville Way, and immediately adjacent to I-64, which is elevated above the site at that point. The existing use is a vacant lot, and the petitioner would like to consolidate that parcel with the 8 adjacent parcels immediately below it at front on Clayton Avenue. Those are Zone J, industrial district. This consolidation is required by MSD as part of the process for a temporary 200-space surface parking lot. The petitioner is proposing temporary in the sense that it would help to make up for some lost parking spaces that are occurring as a result of construction activity in the Cortex district. The petitioner is SLLC Real Estate LLC, which is an affiliate of the Cortex Innovation Community. Mike Sullivan, the General Counsel and COO of Cortex, is here tonight and is available for questions. So this is an aerial photograph, and again, the development has been, in the past few years, Cortex, of the number of buildings that have been built that aren't reflected on here, and other buildings that have come down, particularly industrial planning, long ago. Again, the zoning site is shown in red, parcels to be consolidated with it. This is a rezoning map. As you can see, the 510 South Sarah Street is Zone K, heavy gray. 8 parcels below it are Zone J. The city does not allow the consolidation of parcels of different zoning districts. That's one of the reasons why petitioners here, the other one being MSD requiring this consolidation to take place in order for it to receive approval for the construction. It's already done, probably. These are some photos of the rezoning site. Looking eastward here, you can The foundations are to be put in, looking eastward towards IKEA, looking westward towards the complex. And these are the 7 vacant lots on the left and the industrial building that would be combined with the rezoning site. The photo on the right shows the vacant industrial building that would come down and may at some point in the future be added on to this 200-space service park. This was a graphic that was submitted by Cortex, again, our aerial photograph, listing some of the buildings that have recently been constructed. So this is the rezoning site under the 7 adjacent parcels. EJC Commons office building up here, large parking lot in this vicinity. But more importantly, immediately catty corner to the site on this parcel here is where a 325,000 square foot office building is in the works. Is ground been broken though?
Yes.
Okay. And an existing parking garage is currently being expanded. So this temporary parking lot would help to serve the employees of that office. I mentioned earlier that the rezoning site is immediately adjacent to the Metro Link right of way. This fence line is the boundary line for the particular parcel. So it's right next to the Metro Link line. And then across Sarah Street is the Great River Greenway Trail that leads from Sarah Street, block over to the Cortex station. Somebody walking there, I don't know. Somebody's taking advantage of that. Immediately to the north is the site of the new 300,000 square foot office building and parking garage. Everybody's familiar with the large grain elevator that's located immediately to the north, and to the northeast is, of course, the IKEA. And then to the south is Cofactor Genomics, high-tech firm, and to the right there is Sarah Street, which is one of the access connections to the Forest Park Southeast. This is the site plan of the 200-space surface parking lot. The city strategic land use plan designates this site, and in fact much of the Cortex area, especially the mixed-use area. And it's interesting because it was changed from a business industrial development area about 7 or 8 years ago after the new master plan for Cortex was developed. That was an attempt to try to, rather than develop a strictly business-oriented research park, to create more of a general community that would accommodate other uses, like restaurants, hotels, residential. So the rezoning of this parcel would achieve 3 objectives according to the building administrator, including allowing the petitioner to provide temporary parking for the construction projects I mentioned. Zoning is in conformity with the strategic land use plan, also conformity with the Chapter 353 redevelopment plan that governs this particular Cortex district, and staff is representing it. Happy to answer any questions with Mike Sullivan of Cortex.
Thanks, Mike. Prior to questions from the commission, I'm a little concerned about the shape of that parcel. Why is it, I guess I would say to the east of that? Why it has a diagonal cut to it? Where is that other space that's just north of there?
Yes, just to the north is the Metro Link rail there, and that was part of the right-of-way, so that they owned that parcel before they redeveloped it for the light rail, and so they held on to that.
To that?
Yes, sir. This was an old industrial laydown yard for Herbert Group prior to our acquiring it.
Thank you. All right, commissioners, any questions, Commissioner Bannon? No question. Commissioner Bryant?
I have one. How did the grain elevator fall into the thing? Is that part of this parcel, or is that what James?
No, that would be north of the rail line there, and that's an operating grain elevator with red wheat and soybeans.
Okay. Commissioner Brent? No question. Commissioner Boyd? Commissioner Young?
No question.
All right, with that, I'll entertain Commissioner Conway? If there's any.
No questions.
Thank you. With that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the redistricting for, 1220, rezoning for 1220. Been moved by Commissioner Boyd. Second by Commissioner Manchin. Call for previous roll. Any objections? Hearing no objections, approved for previous roll, 1220. With that, we have 1320 PUD.
And one of the things, just as Mike Tago, the podium, is remember, this is in an area that's a designated 353 redevelopment plan, which is an action of the planning commission, which Cortex has been wildly successful, and so much so that there's researchers in town that are doing a profile on the success of Cortex to be published in national news.
And for those interested, the opportunity as a new executive director for Cortex, I understand, there's a committee, search committee house.
And now, so for a second thing, your last action item tonight is also in a chapter 353, in the SLUE 353, St. Louis University 353. And representing the group that will be here tonight for this zoning item is Rob Luckner from the Cullen Group. As many planning commissions in the county run far into the night, this is our hazing opportunity to put the new county developer that's coming into town to be the last on the agenda. We thank you for your patience and your voices.
Thank you. Also, kind of took my punchline there because I was going to tell you that this is the next and final action item on your agenda tonight. This is for planning and development on the northwest corner of Grand and Shoto. You can see from the aerial on the screen now that the site is vacant of any building and has a temporary gravel parking lot on the western portion of the site. You can't see from the aerial, but there's also a board there. So this temporary parking lot is being utilized for overflow parking for construction workers that are working on the SLUE and FSM hospital complex as well. The site is currently zoned J, Industrial District, which does not allow for residential uses, with an exception that this site does not meet. The proposal before you this evening is for a mixed-use development to include multifamily residential, commercial, office, and hotel, as well as other open space uses. So those uses would be across 9 buildings of varying heights, of 1 to 10 stories. Well, this rendering gives you a visual of the vision that the developer aims to produce. And we can stack it whenever you want. This is the sketch plan that was submitted, and it does provide for some flexibility, given that the developer intends to do this in phases. And this will allow to make minor adjustments as tenants come in phase by phase. The sketch plan would therefore allow up to 200,000 square feet of commercial space, 300,000 square feet of office, 600 multifamily residential dwelling units, 400 hotel rooms, and up to 1,800 parking spaces across the development. In the petitioner's narrative statement, they detailed the way that the phases will likely play out, and that would be phase 1, which would likely be slated to begin in the fall, would include buildings 200, 300, 501, and 502, along with the roadway infrastructure and parking garage. Phase 2 might begin before phase 1 is fully complete, or it might begin shortly thereafter, and that would be building 400. And then the hotel may be presented in one of those 2 first phases. Finally, phase 3, building 100, 503, 504 would likely come after the development has been established for some time and is anticipated to be 5 to 8 years out. The benefit of pursuing a PUD on a development such as this is that it allows for a flexibility of uses and building forms which cannot otherwise be achieved through existing single-use zoning districts. This overlay zoning district aims to encourage site consolidation and planned mixed-use development and allows for changes that may occur in building technology and changes in market demand. So one of the things that I'll note here is that the PUD as a whole requires that the development phase, which is the next phase, provide 20% open space. So while this level of specificity is not required at the sketch plan phase, staff requested something from the developer to feel confident that they are aware of the requirement and they feel they can meet the requirement. So for the exhibit they provided, the petitioner is confident that they will meet and may even exceed the open space requirement. Here we have an aerial of the site for you, and then I will go through my images fairly quickly rate. First image is of the subject site from the southwest corner where the temporary lot exists, and you'll see the billboards as well. The next image is heading north on the site where you can see a significant grade change begin. The next image is on the northeast portion of the site from Grand. You see there the most significant grade change to a point where Grafton Street goes underneath Grand. The last image of the site is showing the southeast corner of the subject site. Vacant and fairly flat. Now crossing the street across Grand, you'll see the fast food restaurant. Heading counterclockwise, going north, this is the vacant site, which is north of the fast food restaurant. Jumping to the north end of the site, this is an existing school bus service lot, and you'll note the significant grade change there on the left. That is the site. This is the existing shop center west of the subject site across Green. And this is a rendering and the photos of the currently under construction blue FSM hospital south of the site, the south of the subject site across Shoto. And finally, the existing St. Louis University Research Center southeast of the subject site across Grand Shoto. So for the enabling legislation of the CC, staff have reviewed the development against the three following conditions as detailed in your report as well. Given that this development will likely increase property value for the proposed development and the surrounding area, and if the development would transform blighted, vacant, and underutilized lots, staff finds that the first two items are addressed by the CC. With regard to the third item, the city's strategic land use plan designates the entire site, as well as much of the adjacent area, as opportunity area, which is intended to be a flexible designation allow for the review of various and wide variety of developments. The proposed development would strengthen the mixed-use character of the city's central corridor, including neighboring acres such as St. Louis University, Cortex, the Armory, City Foundry, FTL, and within walking distance to the Grand Metro Station. And this presents a particular opportunity for transit-oriented development. Thus, staff finds that the proposed CUD is in conformity with the strategic land use plan. In addition, this proposed development would help, as Doug mentioned, to implement the St. Louis Midtown Redevelopment Plan 353, which identifies this area as proposed within that plan. Once the commission takes action, the sketch plan will go through the legislative process. Should the sketch plan be approved by ordinance, each of the development stages will be presented to the commission individually through the submission of a development plan, which would be much more specific and provide you with a lot more detail of what's being proposed. At that time, the planning commission will be asked to determine whether to approve or disapprove the development based on its conformity to the approved sketch plan. The developer will then be able to file for building permits in compliance with the development plan. Having said that, staff finds the proposed CUD conformity with and that will bring the property in conformity with its intended future use and residential people. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer, and there's also a representative.
As we prepare to receive questions from the Commissioner, I'm a little confused on one thing. It says Iron Hill is the petitioner on behalf of St. Louis Youth. Who owns the property? Who's the developer? Maybe I'm missing.
So Lou currently owns the property, and Iron Hill is the developer under contract to purchase the property. So.
To purchase it from.
Correct.
Okay. All right, with that up, Ruth, if you want to make any comments, who's the developer for this, or? Any comments prior to the Commissioner's questions?
I didn't have a prepared statement of any kind, but thank you all. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Commissioners. We're very excited about the site. We're very blessed and fortunate that St. Louis University selected us as the developer for the property. We've got, as Cecilia mentioned, we've got the property under contract right now. Part of that contract is contingent on getting the necessary zoning that we need to execute the project. And one of the uses that we had, as Cecilia mentioned earlier, was multifamily residential, which is now allowed under the J designation. So that's in communication with Cecilia and the rest of the staff, we felt it best to go for a PUD here. We're very excited about doing this project.
And you've done projects, of course, all over the region.
We have.
You're well known for a particular development.
Yeah, so we have a long track record in mixed-use development. Street of St. Charles is ours, was redevelopment of about 25 acres. The old Noah's Ark site, and many of you are familiar with that. It's been very successful. We also redeveloped the Lost at Euclid, down right at the corner of Denmark and Euclid. I personally have been involved with a bunch of other projects in the city as well.
And what's your timing for phase 1 and phase 2? What's your...
So ideally, we'd start phase 1 this coming fall. As Cecilia mentioned, we have a lot of, we've got the parking structure as part of that, as well as a bunch of other infrastructure, roadways, utilities, things like that. Actual improvements aren't shown on brand themselves as well. And then we hope to deliver the first phase, let me count here, fall of 22.
To deliver phase 1 fall of 22?
Yeah, right.
Okay. And you did make a statement, there may be a phase 2 start prior to delivery of phase 1, if things are optimal.
Fall of 22, spring of 23. Just depends what the final design is, okay.
And Cecilia, would you just mention the process that they will have to come back?
Yeah, so they will come back with the development plan phase once the legislation goes through, and those will provide sort of more detailed development on a phase-by-phase basis. So it may come back with, two to 3 buildings, a parking garage, something along those lines, and either come in individually.
Okay. With that, I'll entertain questions from the Commissioner first, Commissioner Conway on the phone, if he has any.
No questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Banton.
First, is Captain D's your new favorite restaurant?
Everybody's favorite restaurant.
And 2, just a clarification I need from Don or Cecilia. So what is the sketch plan and what are we approving exactly? Like, how much can this change after we approve it? Does this really mean anything?
Yeah, definitely the square footage, they do provide some windows to allow for flexibility of square footage, but the uses need to stay, roughly the same, and the building footprints are again, generally the same. They move a little bit here and there, but the number of buildings, the types of uses, or how they're all oriented, will stay the same.
Okay. So the sketch plan is an umbrella. It will go and get approved at the Board of Aldermen, and then subsequent development plans will come to us.
Got it. So basically uses, number of buildings, footprints and stuff in between.
So it'll come back to us. We've had a period where we did a lot of these. The most recent one was out on all of the Emily Goodwinser project.
Okay, great. No question. Commissioner Klein? No question. Commissioner Bradley?
No question.
Commissioner Boaz? Commissioner Young? With that, no further questions from the Commissioner. I'll entertain a vote to approve the recommendation of the staff for 1320. So moved. It's been moved by Commissioner Banton, second by Commissioner Wells, called by previous roll by Commissioner Bradley. Hearing no objections, it is approved with previous roll. Going to the committee, to the Board of Aldermen at this point.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. With that, you just want to run through your...
We'll see you next month.
Very good. With that, prior to closing, I'll simply say to our friends on the west side of the state, congratulations. At least we can see it, the trophy from here. I'll entertain a motion to close. Oh, before, let me commend the staff on getting us these packages and information in great time. Thank you very much. We know you put a lot of work into today, and I want it to be recognized for the record. With that, I'll entertain a motion for the meeting to be closed. Move to adjourn. It's been moved and seconded, and no need for vote. Good night.